Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This is the video log for what's up in April 2024, where I go through the things that I've been working on and the things I'm planning to do in the near future. Give a little bit of a summary, a little bit of a chat. It's going to be a laid back, relaxed sort of a conversation, hopefully below half an hour. Let's try to keep it at that. The idea of these videos is to give a progress report for my Patreon supporters so that they can keep in touch with what I've been working on and maybe suggest some things that I can also be working on in alternative to what I'm planning to do next. If you are one of my Patreon supporters, thank you very much for all the help that you've been giving, helping the channel grow, helping my build my studio, pay for some of my expenses. I had a lot of traveling expenses for revision, for example. That comes from your patronage, so thank you so much for your help. If you're not one of my Patreon supporters, you're still fine to watch the video. I hope you find it interesting. And please consider becoming a supporter. €1, €2, €5, whatever you're willing to donate would be very much welcome to help me keep up with the things that I've been working on. And what have I been working on, I hear you ask? Well, first, at the beginning of April, I was mostly recovering from revision of going there, helping organize the stuff. I was there for a whole week, helping set up the party place, and did some kitchen duty, did a whole few other things. I already did a video about that, so I'm not going to talk that much about revision. It was cool to be there. I just wished I had done a few more creative things for the party itself, but I helped with organizing, and that was rewarding itself as well. I wish I had managed to talk with more people there. You don't really have much time to socialize. You end up being just busy doing all sorts of things all the time. You socialize with more people, but less, quality of life with each individual ones. And anyways, after revision, I came back, spent a week or so recovering from that, and loading things, catching up with old emails and stuff like that. I had a lot of things on the back catalog for Synergy 2024 that I'm helping organize 4 and 5 of May. So it's a little less than a month, now little less than 3 weeks from now. I had a lot of stuff pending on the communication. I had to do some meetings, contact some people, handle some logistics of the stuff, help spam all the announcements that we had in terms of the people that are coming to speak at the event, the things that were happening, the different workshops and stuff like that. Still doing some of that work. I just wrote yesterday a little article piece to try to promote it a little bit more on the Planeta Sinclair blog, for example. And you keep needing to ping different people to make sure that they're either coming to the event or know about the event and share the information with their friends. It's the non-stop communication thing that you need to keep doing when you are organizing an event to make sure that you have actual people attending. Been helping with some copy text stuff for that as well, writing small paragraphs of stuff to help announce things. A lot of website updates, which I hate doing, but needs to be done because otherwise we wouldn't have a website. Planning the workshops and announcing them and trying to get some people to participate in them. I had a little setback in terms of the audio workshop. The person that I was planning to delegate the workshop to can't attend the party. So I have to find a plan B, and apparently I'm it. So I've been spending a few days also learning a bit more of ZX Spectrum trackers, so that I can give a proper ZX Spectrum music tracker workshop of some sort. Hope you have people, that I'm not just wasting my time preparing all of this. But even if I am, it's fine because I already got to learn a bit more about trackers for the beeper, which I had read about, but I'd never actually experienced like firsthand, sitting down and trying to make music with it. So I fooled around with Beeple tracker. I fooled around with one tracker already, and that was pretty fun actually. I was expecting it to be more complicated than it actually is. Still quite hard to get some proper sounds out of it. It's hard to get drums out of it. It's hard to get pads and synths out of it. You only have tones, pretty much. Either you do a melody or you do some glitch. And I'm good with glitches, but I'm not that good with melody, tracking the melodies. In my head, I can play the track, but I don't know exactly what notes it is, so it's very hard to track it on the tracker format for me. I always had that problem, but anyways, I'm sidetracking now. So yeah, I've been working on that so I can get up to speed with beeper trackers. And at the same time, I maybe have a track for Multimatograph. They have a beeper compo there as well, and hopefully I'll do a track for Synergy itself as well. But so far my experiments are, well, I'm not proud of them. So I want to give it another try and see if I can do a little bit better. I also need to re-experiment with Vortex Tracker, which I've used in the past, but it's always a relearning curve of some sort. I know the basics, I know the channels, the tones, the noise. I need to reacquaint myself with it's not arpeggios, what's it called? Articulations. They have a special word for it, which I don't recall right now. The stuff that makes the instrument sound like an instrument and not just a tone. So I remember that part had some quirks in it, so I have to get myself reacquainted with that so that I can explain it properly to people. And I'm not sure if that would be an interesting video, actually, explaining the tracker. Let me know what you think. Well, there are probably some other tracker videos out there, but who knows? I mean, when I did it for the TIC80, there were no videos of the TIC80 tracker available, like people explaining it, and people actually used it, and I just made it like as a quick thing to explain the tracker. I think was for Genio or for someone else. So yeah, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I have to search YouTube if there are other people, if other people have already done it and if they did a good job out of it. If they have, it's fine. I don't want to touch it. If they haven't, maybe I'll consider doing something for that, since I'm already learning a bit more about that thing. Anyways, more stuff for Synergy, so I have to do that. I have to do a ton of playlists for different things, demos to play during the demo show, demos to play on rotation normally, pre-planned, record videos of that. I haven't managed to find the patience to do that yet. Also find music to play in the background between the different events. I have to do a ton of playlists for that stuff. It's gonna be a handful. Meanwhile, I already took care of the Basematic tests. We're going to have a Basematic session, live coding with Z80 assembler using Gasman's tool. I have 4 people hopefully working that accepted to code live at the party place, which is really cool. And 2 people probably joining remotely as well, Super Rogue and Gasman. So let's see if no one bails out. We'll have a 6-way jam session. Gina will be playing music for that. So it's pretty much under control already. The main difficulty here was getting Basematic, first test Basematic, which has had a little quirks. Like the WebSocket system wasn't working out of the gate, and loading it on OBS is also a bit more annoying than usual. But luckily the Multimatograph people were also working on that, because they will also have a Basematic session happening there just 1 week before we do it at Synergy. So I was talking with Nuke about it and a few things. So pretty much got, and they made some actually enhancements to the original Basematic from Gasman. So that's really cool, and we're gonna take a little bit of advantage of that as well. So that was figured out, which is cool. Then I had to make sure that the Woohoo party system is working properly. So running a test compo, seeing if the slides work properly. Fix the damn... Like, whenever we set up Woohoo, it's one of the main problems that shows up. If you have too much text, it wraps around the number and it looks weird on the party slide. I have fixed this bug like 3-4 times already. It keeps popping up. I should have done a fucking pull request, but it wanted to do a whole new system, and it was in the works, and then it's abandoned, and now either I have to finish the whole new system by myself, or we keep using Woohoo. So I've been keep using Woohoo, where we have to reconfigure the CSS every single time, and there's always this damn fucking bug. There are other things on Woohoo that are usually wrong, but this is one of the things that always annoys me. Like, you launch a thing, you launch the slides for the systems on the test compo, you write more than, I don't know, 6-7 lines, it always wraps around badly. So I fixed it yet again. I also rechecked that the live voting is working, that the normal voting is working. It's another bug that's usually recurring on Woohoo, that if you have a very long text on the title or the author, the things lined up, and then you hide with the screenshot of the lower image, the screenshot starts hiding the voting box, so you start having problems to vote. And people usually don't check this because they don't bother, or they don't have time, or whatever. So another thing that I always have to do to double check on Woohoo and fix it, and it's third or fourth time that I fixed it, and we probably should have a custom CSS that won't be changing ever again. But somehow I got tricked at Last Inertia to let someone optimize the CSS, and they just made a mess of the things. Anyways, doesn't matter. So I've been working on that. It was my morning's work today was making sure that CSS is prepared, so I don't have to stress about it last minute. What else? I've been helping organize the Momentum as well. The Momentum meetup that we have here is supposed to be a monthly meetup. And we try to get it outsourced. Well, how can I explain this? People want it to happen every single month, but no one wants to organize it. And since I'm the main organizer of Inertia this year, I made it a point that I want to try to make sure that it still is organized, even though I don't agree with investing so much time in organizing it myself. But if I don't do it, no one else is apparently doing it. I try to sideline it to other people, and they did help partially, but also not extremely, like, they don't have time to keep doing it every single month. So try to alternate a little bit, or I try to poke in that direction a little bit. I try to get Genio to organize one, and then Zero Shift to organize another one. But eventually, if I didn't organize this one in April, it wouldn't happen, from what I was starting to realize. So I pushed to have it happen again. And if I'm organizing it, I need to make sure that we have a flyer. We need to make sure that it's announced in due time, spam it on all the different social media stuff. And we don't have a social media person spamming stuff at Inertia, so I have to do that as well. That's a few different days of work that just went down the drain, just spamming an event for 6 people to show up. Which, a couple of years ago, I was organizing these kind of regular events, and I gave up on them because it was only, 2-3 people showing up every time, and it was just too much work for me to bother. But other people at the Associação Inércia thought that we should bring this back. And I told them, yeah, that's too much work. No one is going to bother doing that. And they assured me that they would be doing that. So, yeah, I am right. Yay, but I'm still having to do all the work. Not all the work. I have been getting some help, but it's still work, and I would much rather have, someone else deal with that. And I just focus on the big party, and someone else deals with all the small stuff that needs to happen meanwhile until we reach the big party. I agree that it's important work. I agree that it needs to be done. I just wish we had more people at Associação Inércia to help organize that stuff. People with more free time. And right now I'm the only person with full time dedicated to organize stuff. Everyone else seems to be too busy with their lives to do things. Anyways, sad story of the time, but it is what it is. So yeah, helped organize Momentum as well, which will happen this Sunday. Helped promote it, which is an ongoing thing. You need to remind people 1 month in advance, 2 weeks in advance, 1 week in advance, and a few days before. Otherwise, they just don't show up. And then they ask a few days afterwards, oh, it happened. No one told me about it. Yeah, you need to pay attention. So yeah, been doing that as well. Still have today to go pick up the key to the place as well, and then show up during the day a bit earlier to set things up. and all that jazz. Also been trying to help Gino with the Inertia bureaucracy, doing the yearly report of the stuff that we did last year. So that took a night from my schedule as well to get that done, get nice photos and a little description text for them, for those reports that no one ever reads, but it's still necessary to be done. Then I had to do the monthly report that I've been doing every single month. I do the report summarizing all the things that have been happening in the demo scene. This month was particularly lengthier because of revision happening, so many competitions happening there. I decided to make just a single video, ended up being over an hour. I think it's okay. I'm not sure if people watch it until the end. I hope they did. From the feedback that I got, most people reached most of it, so I think that's good. I always have doubts, and while I was recording it and noticing that it was going to be over an hour long, I thought of changing the format a little bit. While I was preparing the revision, the monthly report, I noticed that there was starting to get too many demoscene related media news that was worthy to announce, and that's when I noticed that I need to divide it into 2 videos. It's when I start having too much stuff to listed to talk about, especially in terms of news of new things being released, new things that came out, new articles or videos about the demo scene. When I start having more than a dozen of them, I probably already have too much stuff. So one of the plans that I'm going to try to do, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be successful with that or not, is try to have it weekly instead of monthly. And when we have a party, I can talk about the party if the releases have been out. Otherwise, I just talk about the new things that have come out and try to keep it out on a regular day every single week. I'm aiming for Thursday. I like Thursday at I don't know, 8 in the evening or something like that, so I can record it during the afternoon, leave it uploading, go pick up the kid, and then when I come back, I finish all the other meta stuff that needs to be done, and schedule it for like a premiere and have it every single week on the same schedule. That's the idea. Probably going to be more work. I have to figure out the logistics in terms of graphics things, because I've been on the monthly thing, I've been doing like a different effect every single month, and sometimes I ask someone to help me with effects, sometimes I just improvise something, just a quick thing that shows up here showing what we are talking about. I might not need it at all if it's a weekly thing, since I'm just telling you the news that happened this week. I'm not sure yet. I have to think it out a bit more, think it through. But yeah, maybe just the usual background, just saying demo scene report is enough, and then switch to the web page view if I have web pages to show. I think it might work, but it also loses a bit of individual identity. One of the things that makes the monthly report stand out is that it has a different screenshot every single month. So it doesn't feel as repetitive. It feels like it's an evolution of some sort. So, and I want to sort of keep that, and it's a bit hard if it's weekly. I need to either do a single new effect every single week, or figure out a way, have like a graphical identity just for the screenshot, and then I just take a different image and have the date of it. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. If anyone has any ideas and wants to help me with this, by all means, let me know. Send me some ideas, some thoughts, some feedback, some images, some effects, whatever you think could help me fix this in an interesting way for it to have decent YouTube visibility. And speaking about YouTube, I also been trying some YouTube versus Facebook and all the other things. I've been trying to not post YouTube links on Facebook I kind of failed on this last report where I've been trying like for a month not to post any direct links that point you out of the Facebook to see if I increase my shadow ban ratio, because the algorithm just keeps hiding my posts because all the posts that I do are usually pointing outside of Facebook. So I need to do some random chats more so that it's not just links to stuff outside. So I try to post videos directly there, but then on the videos I always say, everything is on the description below. And when it's on Facebook, it's not on Facebook's description because it doesn't fit that format as well, because it also has links to stuff that goes outside Facebook. So it's complicated. Been thinking about it some more, and I think I'm gonna keep trying the concept of avoiding links as much as possible, posting just images or referencing where it's out, just saying no, it's out on YouTube, and hopefully people will go to my channel on YouTube. I don't know. It's hard to measure. Wish I had some statistics to back up the logics of things. And actually, Facebook probably has some metrics on that. Or actually, YouTube might have some metrics on that, like the links that came from Facebook or not. I don't know. We'll have to think about that some more. Anyways, that's been in the back of my head. Other things that I've been doing, while I've been trying to work on all of these party organization stuff, I've been procrastinating a lot of this work because it's all very boring work for me. And when I procrastinate from doing that work, I usually go to demozoo and I end up working on my little pet side project, which is trying to bring demozoo to poet parity. So there's a list of secret administrator list on demozoo that lists all the productions, all the groups that have IDs on poet that are missing demozoo ID, and vice versa. All the groups on demozoo that are missing poet ID. So the idea was that try to link the IDs demozoo to facilitate adding the poet ID on the demozoo production. What I've been actually been using it is as a list of productions that are totally missing from demozoo. So I created some user scripts that go through that list and has a button ready to submit the information. So I click the button to add the information to demozoo. It scrapes the information from Poet. If it has a CSDB link on it, it also scrapes the information from CSDB page, and it autofills the information. So with production name, the group names, the date that it was released, the type of release that it was. So it saves a lot of clicks when you're trying to add a new production to demozoo. So I've been using those scripts to add the missing demos to demozoo. This was usually originally only working for Poet. Meanwhile, I extended it for CSDB as well. So now when I go to CSDB and see the list of a group's productions, I also have a little button there that I can click to create that production immediately on demozoo. So I have a browser open with the group page on CSDB, see all the list of the demos that I have listed there, and then I have the same on demozoo, listing all the productions, and I see which ones are missing. So I go to CSDB and I click and add those directly. So I've been slowly progressing towards adding all the missing groups and production links for demozoo. So the idea is that I'm trying to make Poet obsolete, so I don't have to go to Poet to search for a production anymore. And if I have all the productions on demozoo, I don't need to go to Poet anymore. So that's why I'm trying to reach Poet parity. And when I started on this quest, I don't know, 5 months ago or something like that, probably 6, a little bit after I joined demozoo team, we had like 800 groups which were not assigned, not matched, not completely matched, were only partially matched. with IDs between demozoo and Puet. So I've been going group by group, one by one, starting with the letter A, every single group, and checking what productions exist on Puet for that group and adding the ones that are missing. And more often than not, there are some information wrong on Puet, like the date is missing. For example, from a lot of CSDB productions don't have correct date on Puet because most of those productions were added by a script by Black Panther some 15 years ago, and then no one went there to update the information. So it's usually like no comments whatsoever, just the name of the production, the type of the production, and the group that it's from, and a link to CSDB page. And meanwhile, on CSDB, people kept reviewing the information, updating the information, so it has proper dates of release and things like that, or the group name changed and things like that. So a lot of small things that Puet just remains broken because no one checks Puet for Commodore 64 productions. And on CSDB it's correct, so I have to check both, see which one is correct, add the correct one to demozoo. And sometimes also on Puet there are multiple groups sharing the same name, so I have to separate them into different groups and list the differentiating name. You know, random group like, I don't know, Pulse. There are multiple groups called Pulse. This one is from Amiga in the 90s. This one is from Amiga, but later on in like 98 instead of 91. This one is from PC, mostly from France. This one is from the United States, from this art group that was also called Pulse. I'm making some of these up. It's the best idea that I could think of right now, but there were a few examples like this that I had to separate completely and do some research and go like to Janeway and look it up. I also found some bugs in Janeway. I also found some bugs on CSDB. I've been reporting them to Asley and Hedning to fix those. So yeah, that's been my pet project, and I've been slowly doing some advances on that, like trying to do at least one group a day or something like that. And when I started, it was around 800 groups, I think 900 in the beginning, and it's been slowly creeping down, and now we are around 550 or something like that. So over 300 groups that have been fixed and have the information all correctly on demozoo now. Sometimes I get lost on the rabbit hole of demozoo, end up editing information for other stuff, like missing disk mags. I just start adding those, and oh, it's missing credits on this production, so I start adding the credits on that, and I get sidetracked, and I end up editing stuff that has no relation with what I was originally doing when I started trying to fix just the damn group from the letter A. So I've been doing a lot of that. It's my procrastination task, as I said. When I don't feel like working on the stuff on my to-do list, I end up on demozoo doing these little edits. The downside of this trip is that this list of productions on demozoo only lists productions that already have at least one entry on demozoo and one entry on Puet, so it's not like a complete list. If there was no entry added on demozoo whatsoever, or we don't have the Puet ID for that group listed on demozoo, it won't match them, so I don't see it on that list. So it's not a complete list, but it's a starting point for a lot of the stuff. And once I'm done with this list, we will figure out a way to have a more complete list of things. So yeah, been working on that as well. And then other than this, I've also been working on some Enough Records stuff. So for those who don't know, Enough Records is the netlabel that I run for over 20 years now, 24. So I keep needing to do some regular stuff in it. I'm supposed to be working on it a few days every month or every week even. This month in particular, I had to finish the transparency report that we write every single year, going through the accounts of the statistics and accounts of the netlabel. I don't have to do it. It's because I want to do it. I want to be transparent with the operation of the label. So every year I go through all of the different platforms that we operate in. I list all the downloads and things that it got. What was the highest production? What were the one that got most listens? The one that got most downloads? And I try to do a summary out of all that information. Also, all the money that got. I have to go through all of the accounts, PayPal and bank accounts, see everything that went in and that went out. We operate the netlabel as a non-profit thing, so all the money that comes in needs to come out in equal amounts, sort of ish equal amounts. So I try to give priority to some operational costs, and then whatever is left over from that, I usually donate it to sites or services that have been doing good work on the internet. Regularly donate to archive.org, EFF. I used to donate to Free Music Archive when they were more active as well. Also have to pay the account for SoundCloud and Bandcamp, things like that. And Mixcloud also is paid nowadays. So yeah, there are some costs associated, and I try to donate everything else to associations, other non-profit associations that could use the money more. So yeah, other than the transparency report, we're still working on a new remixes compilation. They also had to poke a few people to do final versions of the tracks and figure out the status of things. Some tracks need mastering that I haven't gotten around to do it myself. I also had to figure out a track list that works. Waiting on a cover to be able to push it out as well. And I got a few more submissions that were sent in that I had to take a listen and give some feedback. If it's worth releasing, if it's not worth releasing. I have 2-3 of them now in the pipeline for getting pushed out. Just missing artwork and the final date of release to get pushed out. And on top of these things, on Enough Records, I also have to do the monthly radio show as well. Every single month, I record 2 hours of tracks taken from the back catalog that we have of music, and just give a little bit more highlight to the tracks that we were released throughout the years. And promote it on the different radio stations as a podcast as well. It's also available online. So yeah, every single month I have to do this as well. Just record it, not just record it, but also prepare the cover artwork for it and spread it out on the internet and try to spam it as much as possible to get people to actually listen to it. So yeah, these are the things that I've been doing on April so far, on these 3 weeks that already went through, and still a lot of things to work on. I have to fix a lot of things for Enough Records. I also wanted to do a website update on Enough Records, and I haven't had time to do that. Try to have it more divided by different styles instead of just big long list of releases. But I haven't gotten around to do that, and I think I need to. So the problem with the current Enough Records website is that it uses some old technology. I don't even remember the name anymore. What's it called? It's Angular. I don't think it's Angular. I think it's a version before Angular. Similar thing to Angular. It's a particular version of that only gets compiled on my Mac. And I tried to update it a few times before in the past, but there are some incompatibilities to how things are done in the website. So I need to rewrite parts of the website to support the new version of whatever it is. I think it's Angular, might be something else. React.js, I think. So I would need to update React so I would need to update the website to update the new version of React, and I don't want to do that because I fucking hate React to begin with. So I want to do a static version of the website without any of this nonsense boilerplate stuff that was added by Dan when he was originally making the website 15 years ago or something like that. So I want to do a new version, static version based on the current one, but more minimalistic and just focused without all the dynamic loading bullshit that I don't use and it's just hard to compile. One of the other alternatives that I wanted to try to do was to get the website compiling directly in GitHub with the GitHub, what's it called? Or GitHub, the Yalm thing where you define the way that it compiles itself internally and it automatically runs those scripts for you. I think I can get it to pretend that it's a Mac of that age and using those specific libraries. But also the libraries themselves have some deprecated features, some vulnerabilities that they recommend that you upgrade. And when you upgrade, you run into the issue that you need to rewrite parts of the website to accommodate for those new versions of React or whatever the library was. So I'm divided if I should try to do that and deal with that, or if I should just remake this website from scratch, not have to deal with that. So yeah, haven't had time to work on it, so it's on the pipeline. Another thing that I've been working on was also the final version of the creative writing thing for Winepunk 2. I had to reply a few things on editing to make sure that it's properly ready to be printed out. And there was a few more creative writing things that I wanted to do, namely the 25 years book about Enough Records itself, which I've been planning for a long time. I started first draft at some point and then I abandoned it. I hadn't had time to pick it up again. I really want to get back to it and try to give it a proper write-up. One of the goals that I want before I consider closing the label, I want to give a proper write-up of why we created the label to begin with, the point behind it, how things change on these 25 years, because 25 years is a lot of time to be operating on the music industry and on the IT side of things. When we started Enough Records, people didn't really have broadband left and right. Like, we had difficulties getting just a server available online to serve all our content. There were no mirrors, there were no places where you could upload your music, and things changed a lot throughout the years. Some things remained the same, but a lot of things also changed. And the whole aspect of the music industry also changed accordingly. Some things for the better, some things for the worse. And now with AI creeping up, where you can just create music of any genre that you want, kind of obfuscates the need for these niche generic labels of some sort. So people looking for generic music on this specific style, they already usually go for like a playlist of some sort. They don't go looking for labels that have that music, or at least that's how I feel, that people are not doing that as much as they used to. And the music industry has been pushing this idea that you have to be an act and promote yourself. It started pushing the idea that if you don't have social presence on the internet, you're not going anywhere. So the artists nowadays have to do their own promotion, their own image. So it's not just making music. Okay, it's not just making music. It's making music, creating a whole identity around it, and making sure you can generate a community around it, and a community that will eventually translate into getting some money that keeps you going. It's very hard to do that on an indie level. There are very few projects that do that. Some independent people do that, but usually it's very hard to survive doing that. Usually either you survive by doing live gigs or spamming a huge amount of albums that you distribute on different places and try to sell and help get some help from different labels and promotion agencies to help promote your work and get some more income. And nowadays with Bandcamp being operational, a lot of that thing got sucked into Bandcamp. Bandcamp is what generates more. People no longer care about streams all that much. People are starting to realize that Spotify is mostly a scam. YouTube sort of gives some income, but it's also not really. So it changed a lot of the music paradigm change. Now it's assumed that you as a musician, regardless if you're selling or giving your music away for free, that you need to have that image and you need to do the broadcasting of the information and create a community about it and know about how to manage the communities and things like that. So it's a completely different ecosystem to work on, and I've been around for 25 years, so I've seen the changes. I don't bother doing it for my own personal project. My own musical project, PS, is on hiatus as well. I stopped making new music. I never really cared about image and social presence. I always thought that the music would speak for itself, but it's really hard for people to discover the music when you don't do those things. So I understand its importance. I just chose to neglect it personally. But for the label, I feel like I have to do that work as the label owner, taking the artist hat off and putting the label manager cap on. I have to do that because the artists trusted me as the label director, whatever my title is, to do that. At least that's how I feel. That's what I try to do, and I try to do the minimums that I can within the possibilities, because after all, it's still a hobby. I'm not getting paid for this. So I try to do the radio show. I try to spam as much as possible the different releases, old releases and the new releases, but it's still hard to create a community around it. And we lost some traction a few times because of server crashes. We lost our mailing list. Facebook lost traction. Last.fm lost traction. We had sort of a community going there, and it sort of disappeared because of those reasons. But yeah, different challenges. Anyways, this makes some interesting work for explaining in the book the origins, why we were starting in Records back then, and how things changed throughout the years, and how we see ourselves in the music industry now. And there's still a lot of stigma that if you don't release a physical release, you're not, people don't play your music on the radio and stuff like that, which you would think that it would no longer be the case because we are in 2024. Everybody releases digitally. But there are still a few people that believe that. People as in DJs, music promoters, and even some artists, that released on netlabel for a little while, on the netlabel model, and then went back to making limited edition copies of things. They just see it like to put it available for free online, or even just paying for it online, is like you should only do that after you have exhausted all of your limited copies that you have for sale. But there are a lot of different models out there and reasons behind them, and I think it would make an interesting book. I just need to sit down with like 2-3 weeks of not having to deal with different organization stuff and video content and creative things, and sit down and write that. So that's on my to-do list for over 2 years now. Try to give it a small head start. Haven't picked it up back yet, but I definitely want to do it, and I'm aiming to do it this summer. So that's my plan for the summer, and it's probably going to get ruined by the kid being home for the holidays and things like that, which makes it impossible to have several hours of just sitting down and write. You learn that as a parent, but yeah, that's my idea. And already have on a very long video, so I'm gonna wrap things up. I have a few other things planning up. Main priority right now is Momentum. I have to do it this weekend. Synergy, I have to finish preparing all the stuff that I need to prepare because it's already in 2 weeks' time. I'm going there a few days before to help setting things up. I'm going to take the wife and the kid with me as well. They're going to sightsee a little bit and enjoy their time there while I do the logistics stuff. Hopefully it goes well. It's gonna take a big chunk of Associação Inércia's budget for the year, which was not what we were expecting it to. But we need to support, we need to pay some hotel, we need to pay some food stuff. It makes sense that we support it. But we will need to try to increase the number of associates at Associação Inércia as well, if we want to have enough budget to do the things that we've been doing last year, this year again at Inércia, 6 to 8 of December, which I'm also organizing and having done. I have been doing some things to try to what's the word I used to say? Reduce the Genio dependency, because we depended a lot on Genio last year because he was the main organizer and whatever he could, and we were only organizing it for like, we started organizing it 1 month or 2 months before it actually started, so we didn't have time to fully get all the things into place. A lot of things was last minute put together, which I personally hate doing, but it was the conditions that we were in. We didn't know. I was personally assuming that we would have to cancel last year's Inércia. But it turned out pretty good for the last minute that it was made. Last month that it was made. This year we have a whole year to plan ahead. So I've been doing some contacts, trying to replace Genio on a few different places. I managed to get some stage hands to help out with the audio setup stuff. Some people also for the lights. And I've been trying to nag the scene set people to help us with the streaming. So them fly in and help us with stuff, but it's complicated for different reasons: personal time, financial reasons, bringing the equipment. They are weary of flying it in. It's usually easier to just drive there, but it's a long way to drive from Sweden or Germany to come here, so it's complicated. It's a lot more complicated than usual. But yeah, still want to try to replace Genio on that, so that he can just do, I don't know, be host or be playing music or participating on the competitions or something like that. Not be doing 5 roles like he was doing last year. So that's my main priority for this year, is trying to reduce the Genio dependency. I still want him at the party place. I still want him very involved in the organizing. I just don't want him to have a meltdown with all the stuff that he has to do at the same time, like he was having last year. He didn't have a meltdown last year, but he was extremely tired and exhausted, and you could see physically that he wasn't. He was overcrowded with things that needed to be done. So yeah, I'm trying to reduce that. That's one of my main goals: increase the team in ways that reduce the Genio dependency, and have the same thing that we did last year, but slightly better. That's my main goal. Slightly more people, slightly better events. If we can do that, I think it will be a success. Initially, in the beginning of the year, I wanted to do a few more things, trying to go to local schools and get them to help promote. I don't think I have personal free time to handle that, and I don't see anyone else at Associação Inércia picking that up. And I also have to apparently organize the presence at Festival Software Libre, at the FSL, which we were present last year with a very hacked up presence. And this year we wanted to do a more permanent presence, like keep up to date with the organization, not just show up there and do something in a room, but actually have some plan. Try to delegate that, but the person that I delegated to doesn't have time to follow up, so I have to do it yet again. So yeah, it's complicated and it takes a lot of time, and I'm tired of organizing party stuff. It feels like I've been organizing like I'm planning to organize parties all year long, and I need to cut back, but I'm not sure on what. Helped organize Love Bite, and I don't see how I can cut back on that. Super Rogue might have a bit more responsibility again next year, maybe, but I will still have to help with that. So most of my February will be sucked up on that. Helped organize the Momentums as well. Lost quite a few weeks of my life with that. Now I'm organizing Synergy, and if this goes well, it will probably happen again next year. Not sure if next year or in 2 years. That would be nice if it would be in 2 years' time to give me a little breathing room from the organization stuff. But at the same time, it's mostly the museum, the LoadZX museum, that is organizing. I'm dealing with the demo scene part of things. I don't have to do the whole logistics of the whole event, which is really good. But I still have to be present and, you know, give information, give follow-ups, contact people, help promote, all that kind of stuff that sucks the time out of you. And then the FSL, so I'll be doing that in October, and then it's Inertia already in December. So I'm spending the whole year just planning stuff on organizing demo scene events, which is cool for demo scene stuff, but it's not very cool for my mental sanity because I need time to be creative as well, not just follow up with responsibilities of organizing stuff. So yeah, that's been stressing me a little bit, not too much. And that's probably been impacting the content that I wanted to do in terms of videos for YouTube and things like that. I haven't had as much time to do them as I wished I had, and also help with revision as well. So yeah, hopefully it will be better in the future, and I'm not sure what I will do for 2025, but I will need to cut back on something. Don't know what, but I can't be organizing 5 events a year again. So yeah, something will need to be cut so I can have some free time again. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Sorry for being too long. I ended up ranting. Hope it was interesting. Let me know what you thought on the comments, or write me messages on Discord as well, or SMS if you don't like Discord, or an email if you don't like Discord or SMSs. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next video. Bye bye everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy.